Hi, Crystal here. If you followed me at all for a while, I'm very big on helping people with different challenges. I don't love the word disability, but that's what the government is using right here. I like to use different abilities or extra challenges. Today, what I want to talk about is the disability benefit that they brought out just over the last year. And there's some key information that a lot of people aren't really sure on. So payments start in 2025 July, but a lot of people think it just happens automatically. If you have the disability tax credit, you automatically get this $200 a month, right? And $200 a month is the maximum. It's not a great huge amount, but every little bit helps. So as you can see here, I'm getting all my information just from the Government of Canada site, benefits, disability benefits. You can also search it up here in the search bar, search for disability benefits. This is designed to help people who are over 18. Under 18, there are some supports, and then over 64, there's some other supports for people with disabilities, but it's to kind of fill that gap in between. All right. The biggest misconception is that it'll just automatically happen, and that's never how it works. 64, you have to already qualify for the disability tax credit. If you're in the process of getting that done, they will go back 24 months and give you what you were entitled to from that thing. You do have to have your income tax up to date. Obviously, 2024 has to be in, and you have to be a Canadian resident, Canadian citizen, permanent resident. There's some fine print on the permanent resident side of things, especially if you've only been here a short time. You just have to qualify as one of these things: protected person or a temporary resident who's lived in Canada for 18 months. One last little bit, if you happen to be incarcerated, you do not qualify for this extra cash. If you do work or get scholarships or have some payments coming in, they will still give you some, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get it all. I like just to get right to it. I'm a nuts and bolts girl, so I like to just play with the benefits calculator. So in this case, we'll look at somebody who is single. We'll go continue. We'll say they make, well, we'll start at 10,000 just as an easy, and we'll say that they actually worked and made 50, but their net return on line 236. I'm going to go back to circling these. That's all you got to do is find out what the number is, and they'll calculate it out for you. In the working income is your gross, but once you take deductions off, if there happens to be kids or anything else, and then in this assumption we're having that there's no disability income coming in, you're still at the working phase of your life, or young enough that you're not withdrawing some of that income. And right in this calculation, we're not getting any childcare. Next, I skipped over that, but it is indexed, and it will go up with the cost of living every year, so that's helpful. 33,500, they start cut down. Instead of the 200, you get 109.67. And like I said, so if you're having trouble getting your disability tax credit approved, or you just didn't get around to applying because you thought this would come automatically, it doesn't. This is how you get it sorted out. Okay, let's do another little option, and let's say that you're receiving, maybe you have a little one at home. So let's say you're receiving $400, and that shows up on here, and you're not repaying anything. So how does that affect it? Doesn't really change anything. They don't claw back if you have a dependent, which is very nice. Some of these programs out there, they claw back every chance they get, it seems. Let's say that you have a few kids, you get $800. Let's see what happens there. Still no clawback. I really like that component of things. Let's see if we have the spouse. This is where it can get to be a little bit less money coming in. So if we say 30,000 here, and they're not claiming the child care benefits, so everything else is good. But now, once we have a spouse in here, now we're not getting the disability amount. Now, that's assuming that your partner doesn't have a disability. Sometimes there are situations where the partner also has a disability, and then you receive $65 a month. Again, not huge amounts, but at least it's something. You can play with this. I'm giving an example. But the nice thing is you can plug in what your numbers are. You'll have your taxes done, and then you can figure it out. So let's see if the other person's income is lower, how that affects our scenario. So then the original partner is getting $96.67. Monthly amount, if you're both receiving the disability tax credit, then you could get $148. Just some different scenarios. I really, really like the estimator for working things through. This is just one of the many benefits that they are trying to bring in to help people with disabilities or differences. There's a whole bunch more here. I'll be going through each of them individually. One of my areas of expertise, because I started off the business because my niece was born with major challenges, and I learned about this program, the Registered Disability Savings Program. It's a long-term plan. They'll give up to $90,000 towards start saving towards their future. $20,000 of it they'll give without even putting anything in, and then the other $70,000 is a matching component. So I'll be going into that one in much more detail in one of the other trainings. There's other disability benefits for veterans. My dad happens to be a veteran. There's all sorts of different things that you can qualify for. I'm going to click on one more thing here. Deductions, tax deductions. Again, there is the disability tax credit. If you're interested at all, feel free to reach out. I've helped thousands of people apply for the disability tax credit, which is what this one is talking about. There's lots of programs to help the caregivers as well, because it's not easy depending on what challenges they have. There's lots and lots of different options. So I'll be going into this later on. Have a great day. Bye.